Hey, what's up? My name is Chris, otherwise known as CHIPxHAZARD. I'm a photographer here in North Florida, and we're going to be talking about this lens right here, the Tamron 35-105. Everything was perfect until that. Today we're going to be talking about the Tamron 35-150 and why I highly recommend this lens. Let's get into it. All right, so recently I've swapped over to Sony. Haven't regretted it. It's been great so far. I bought the A7R5, and buying glass for Sony has been a little bit tricky because you have the G Masters, which chef's kiss. They're phenomenal lenses. Your boy likes a little bit of character and not necessarily a perfect lens, but I also like reliable autofocus, so you can't cheap out completely and buy too cheap of lenses. So I was a little bit torn and been literally Googling every lens there is. For me, when I like to do video, I like something on the wider end because I like to use the stabilization and it crops in. I think it's like 1.1 to 1.3 times on the sensor. And when you add that crop to a lens like this, the Tamron 20-40, you get somewhere in between like a 26 to like, I think it's 55 or something like that. So this becomes a really handy lens. It's also super light. The autofocus sometimes isn't the most reliable, especially when you try to like crash cam, like zoom in. And I don't know, it just hunts a little bit for a second and then it latches back on. So that's fine. But the main thing I've been looking for is what the heck do I cover the main ceremony with? Normally we're out in very big kind of ceremony areas. There's usually around 100 people that you have to shoot over or across from. So you usually need a decent amount of reach, but then also you need something wide. And for ceremonies, a lot of times you don't have time to change lenses. And this, we're filming on the ZV-E1 as well. This is my B cam, so he will either have this lens, so I'll crop in and he'll be at around like a 60mm-ish focal length, which usually is tight enough for a safety shot or anything like that. But whatever I have in my hands needs to be fairly versatile, and that's where this guy comes in. Because while my safety shot is locked in on the bride and groom, I like to run around, grab detail shots, catch somebody emotional, maybe mom and dad is crying. Like this right here is the perfect ceremony lens. Like you get all the reach you need at 150. If you need to on this camera, you can crop in. So if you need that one do-it-all lens for a ceremony, hands down, I don't think there's a better buy out there that I've used. Obviously, Canon just came out with a 24-105 2.8. So if you're a Canon user, personally, I don't think you can beat that lens. It literally covers 24 all the way into 105. And if you're using, I guess, the new R5 Mark II, you go into APS-C mode. There you go. You have pretty much all your bases covered. But if you're a Sony guy, this is the one. And for photos, I covered all day wedding with this lens, and it is chef's kiss. And obviously you've been watching like overlays of examples and stuff like that, but I also took this to cover events. So if you don't shoot weddings and you're more of an event photographer, I went to a Jeep event earlier this year and covered that. And dude, this is the only lens that I had to use the entire time. It covered everything that I needed. It was perfect. Anytime I wanted to go tight and grab like nice little tire details or off-road, like, I don't know, for vehicles, I really like the tighter focal length at 150. It just looks, I don't know, it looks cooler. I don't have a scientific like example for that one. It just, to me, it looks better. Anyways, but also a few mornings, like woke up, took some photos of the sunrise. They came out crazy cool. It was a crazy sunrise. Very clear skies. Thought it was pretty. Took photos. There they are. I don't know. I really don't have enough to say about this lens. It keeps its focus zooming in pretty darn good. It doesn't hunt like the 20-40 does, but man, really this is just a rant on how good this lens is and how versatile it is. If you're a Sony user, this to me, bro, #1 lens. And I'm going to be taking it with me up to North Carolina later this year. I have another Jeep event to cover up in the Smokies, so going to be bringing that guy, and then also going to be up there to cover another wedding later this year. Have one in Turks and Caicos. This is not me bragging, this is me literally telling you where this lens is going to go, and we'll do a recap of like 6 months with this lens, and then I'll let you know my thoughts and if I still recommend it as much as I do right now, because I'm in love with this lens. But stick around, I got a lot more videos. I'm finally able to catch up on a bunch of these because your boy caught up on wedding editing. So hopefully you'll see my face a little more often. Until next time, peace.